Welcome back to the Blitz and Amuse podcast. This is going to be a very sad episode today for me. Jaden, not so much.
No, I'm pretty happy about the results that happened this weekend.
Yeah, I'm glad you are. Um, yeah, I don't even know where to start. I don't want to go on the whole Vikings rant just yet to start off the episode.
Why not?
That was not a fun time for me at all. I mean, I knew it was coming at some point, just being a Vikings fan, you know.
Yeah, we'll leave that one for the middle of the episode.
Yeah.
Something
Um,
to look forward to.
Yeah, you want to talk about I guess the first game of the playoffs, Texans Chargers, right?
I believe so, yes.
Um Kind of the tale of two sides here. Chargers, I think they were up what, 6-0?
Yeah, 6-0 the first quarter.
Yeah, two field goals right away. And their defense seemed like they were stopping the Texans, and then Houston just ran wild. It was insane. Very fun game to watch, but if you're a Chargers fan, you got to be just about as disappointed as me.
I mean, you look at it, and it's like their running game has been a big focal point of that offense all year.
Yeah, that
And
got stripped away completely.
yeah, they just could not do anything. And Justin Herbert was throwing the ball, drop passes, interceptions, fumbles.
Yeah,
Everything was going wrong for the Chargers.
Justin Herbert, 14 for 32. Did have 242 yards off 14 completions. That's a little insane.
I think the
Um,
most insane thing is Lad McConkey.
yeah. 9 receptions, 197 yards, and a touchdown, with the longest being an 86-yard reception.
And the next highest being Will Disley for 16 yards.
What a playoff debut. If you're a Chargers
Yeah.
fan, you got to be stoked about that connection. But Herbert again, those are okay stats, you know. But 4 picks, I will admit, a couple of them were not his fault. Um,
Yeah, that one pick six went right through McConkey's hands.
yeah, I think one got tipped off of Disley too, if I'm not mistaken.
There was one where he was throwing back across the field on a play action boot,
Yeah,
and that's just a cardinal sin. You do not throw back across the field like that, 50 yards down the field.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Not a great day for Herbert. I mean, going to the defense there. God, who had the pick? Because I know Stroud had one pick.
Who had the pick for the Chargers?
Yeah,
Um, Dean Leonard.
Dean Leonard.
Yeah.
He also registered one tackle. So, um,
Um, I mean,
yeah,
like we said before, we didn't trust the Texans offense, and with their defense scoring what 14 points?
yeah,
They have two pick sixes.
I think so.
Yeah, with their defense scoring more than the Chargers scored all game, I feel like you don't need to trust their offense that much.
Oh, they only had one defensive touchdown.
No,
Um,
but
yeah,
their offense was balling out.
yeah, yeah, definitely. C.J. Stroud, 22 for 33, 282 yards, a touchdown and a pick. So, not the greatest game. It's a pretty average game, you know.
Yeah,
Joe Mixon killed it. 25 carries, 106 yards, and a touchdown.
did.
Not very explosive, but he was just eating all day. Like
I
just
was gonna say,
5 yard chunks, you know?
I was gonna say, if those 5 yard chunks, you're gonna win a ball game doing that.
Yeah. Nico Collins on that side, kind of like their only healthy receiver left. Um, 7 receptions, 122 yards, and a touchdown. So, really good day for him, too. Um, Also, did you see with I think the Texans dropped Deontay Johnson after this
That's
game.
it's probably a good thing. He really didn't do anything anyway.
Yeah,
I
he
honestly
had one
played a
catch.
snap.
He
Oh,
had
he did?
he had one catch for 12 yards.
Yeah. I don't
Oh,
know. Deontay Johnson was a big pickup for the Ravens when they got him, but he didn't do anything there either.
yeah. I thought he was gonna go crazy in Carolina, honestly, but he's still got outshined by Adam Thielen and Xavier Legette.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Houston surprised me a lot in this game. It's not outrageous to say they have a chance against the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs starters haven't played since Christmas.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a little rust. I'm going to assume they start out slow, but Andy Reid's going to have a game plan. He always does.
I'd like to see the Texans come out and play exactly how they just did against the Chiefs.
Yeah, same. I mean, I want upsets.
Yeah.
Um, Not an upset for our next game.
A lot closer,
Buffalo
though.
and Denver.
Honestly, I thought it was going to be a lot closer.
So did I. Bo Nix had an okay game. I mean, 13 for 22, 144 yards and a touchdown with no picks. Not great, but
It honestly just felt like they couldn't get anything going.
no. And Buffalo's defense came to play.
And yeah, that was another thing. Like, if the Broncos wanted to win this game, their defense was going to have to show up and show out, and they did not show up at all.
No, I mean, Josh Allen 20 for 26, 272 and two touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh Allen's a train that's hard to stop. And when James Cook is running the ball like he did, I mean, 23 carries, 120 yards, and a touchdown. That's tough to stop. Josh Allen had 46 yards on the ground himself. It looks like Mitch Trubisky had 3 carries for -3 yards.
I will say this:
I think
when
that's
the Bills,
just a kneel down. That's probably just
when
a
the
kneel down.
Bills' backup running back is averaging 5 yards a carry,
Yeah,
something's going wrong.
yeah. I don't know. Honestly, for Buffalo, pretty evenly distributed. Their main focus, I think, was to take away Mark Cooper, and they did that. But Josh Allen's gonna spread it to everyone else. If his top 2 receivers, I'd say, with Keon Coleman too. Keon Coleman had 1 catch for 5 yards. Amari Cooper had 2 catches for 8 yards. But other than that, they had 6 people in double digits for receiving yards.
Yeah. It's kind of insane, honestly. I feel like that's a good thing, like about Josh Allen, is he doesn't hone in on one receiver the whole game and just throw it, throw it, throw it, throw it.
Yeah. And they have a balanced running attack as well. It's pretty insane to watch Buffalo this year. I thought they were going to regress when they lost Diggs, and they lost a lot of people in that back end of the defense as well. And yeah, they didn't lose a step. If anything, I think they're better than last year.
I was gonna say, I feel like after Stephon Diggs left, nobody thought they were gonna be what they are.
No.
With no receivers, like name-worthy receivers to catch the ball. You don't think
Yeah.
Josh Allen is having an MVP type season?
I mean, I knew when they got Amari Cooper that connection was going to be good. Just because,
Yeah.
I don't know, Amari was in Cleveland.
Yeah, he had Deshaun Massage Watson on him the ball, and he was still doing good.
That was rough. Yeah, I don't know. This could be like game of the year in the playoffs. I think this upcoming game with the Bills and the Ravens could be better than the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
I think that one about the Lions and the Commanders.
That's gonna be a good game too.
Two teams that really don't want to play defense, so they're just gonna score the ball on, never go for it, or always go for it on fourth, never take field goals. I think it's gonna be a fun game.
Yeah. Yeah, this Buffalo team is just a train right now. It's gonna be an insane game. Same with the Ravens. We'll get to them here in a second. Yeah, I don't know. I think with the Broncos, obviously Cortland Sutton, dog, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he only had 5 receptions, but I thought Sean Payton, they just couldn't get anything going on offense, so that kind of limited the amount of time they spent on offense, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know the time of possession for each team, but I'm sure it was like way in the favor of the Bills. But Troy Franklin surprised me a lot. That 43-yard touchdown that he caught just gave me Oregon flashbacks with those two. I think with a little bit another year of like a full off season and like a full training camp for Troy Franklin, I think he's gonna end up being the 2 next year. And I think he'll be a pretty solid 2. I was pretty high on him coming out of college.
You know, the one thing I was looking forward to with this Broncos team this game was their defense. To be able to stop Josh Allen in his tracks from having an MVP type game. And nobody on this defense, not even Pat Surtain, who might even win Defensive Player of the Year, could do a damn thing.
Yeah. Um yeah, Josh Allen's one of the smarter QBs in the league too. He's not going to make too many mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at the Denver's defense, I mean, they had 2 sacks all game. I guess Buffalo's defense did too, but I don't know. This is a big discrepancy here. So this kind of tells you how much more the Broncos were on defense than the Bills. The Broncos as a team had 80 total tackles. Okay?
Yeah.
The Bills had 40. 40.
What was the time of possession?
I don't see that. I don't know. I'd like to see it though.
41 minutes and 43 seconds for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh yeah, 18 minutes, 17
yeah.
seconds for the Broncos. Wow.
Yeah.
What's crazy is the Bills got penalized way more too.
Yeah. But like you also look, the Bills only punted the ball one time.
Yeah.
So it's either they scored or they like obviously ran the clock out at the end of the game. But the Bills just could not be stopped on offense.
Yeah. Third down was not Denver's friend either in this game. 2 for 9 on third down.
Yeah.
It was a rough one to watch. I mean, Bo Nix, I think he's going to be good. I think he will be good. Obviously, you cannot judge a player by 1 year in the league, especially being a rookie just getting thrown into the starting role.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take for them to get over this hump. Because, I don't know, they got weapons, you know? Like, Javonte Williams is pretty good. I mean, he got completely shut down, but he only had 7 carries, I guess. They were just they couldn't do anything.
I don't know, man. It just seems like they beat lesser teams, which is weird to say.
Yeah, it's the NFL. Every game is...
Yeah, it's going to be a hard game no matter who you play, whether you're playing the 32nd ranked or you're playing the first ranked team. They're still NFL players at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This kind of mixes up our bracket from last week, too. Some of these. What did we end up going? Because we had the Bills. We had the Chargers, though. We had Baltimore. We had Philly. I think we had Washington. So we went, 4-2?
Yeah, because we both picked the Vikings.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. That'll be the last game we cover.
Yeah.
How about that? That's
yeah,
a good, okay.
Dear God. Yeah, I don't know. Very clean game by Josh Allen. I mean, when he's having a game, he's just too consistent, you know?
Yeah. He really just does what's needed from him at the time.
Yeah.
There's games where he'll have 400, 450, but there's also games where he'll have 200 and a touchdown.
I honestly would love to see the Bills win a Super Bowl, you know? I mean, that fan base, I can relate strongly to that 0-4 in the Super Bowl, but I think they made 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost them all.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's very tough. I mean, yeah, I wasn't alive for any of the Vikings, so I wasn't alive for the '98 season either. So, thank God. That'd just be one more check in the fucking heartbreak tally for the Vikings for me. It's a tough team to be a fan of, very much.
One
And
of, one of the games that we did get right in the guessing wise aspect of it, but just surprised me from how low of a score it was, I guess, was 28-14 for the Ravens and Steelers.
yeah, that was a very fun game to watch. I mean, it's I don't know. It's again divisional. It's they know each other well. This is the third time these teams have played this season. I think the Steelers won one of the matchups, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, but Russell Wilson honestly had a pretty good game.
Russell Wilson had a better game than Lamar Jackson, technically.
Yeah, maybe not all purpose included, but
Well, yeah, no, because Russell Wilson's not like that no more.
no. Yeah, but Russ 20 for 29, 270, 2 tuds, 0 picks. He had a good game, but he took 4 sacks for 19 yards. I cannot wait to see the Sam Darnold stat and loss for yards for sacks. Oh my God, sacked 9 times, tied a playoff record. But we'll get into that later.
I think the story of this game is just the Steelers not being able to get the Ravens off the field.
No, not at all. What was the? Do you have the time of possession?
39 minutes and 33 seconds to 20 minutes and 27 seconds. They were 10 for 15 on third downs.
They
got them to third down. Yeah, they got them to 15 or third down 15 times and only stopped them 5.
Yeah, that's tough to win a game like that. George Pickens had a pretty good game. I mean, 5 receptions, 87 yards, touchdown. He was their leading receiver. I mean, you gotta. Oh, I don't know.
I mean, he did spread the ball around, but their run game was just non-existent.
I mean, 7 receivers in double digits for the Steelers, and I don't know. This Ravens defense showed up big time.
They did.
That's why I think this Bills-Ravens game is going to be like game of the year. It's going to be so fun to watch. I have a buddy that's a Bills fan, and I know he's going to be stressing hard about this one. There's just 2 juggernauts just lining up. Who's
Yeah,
going
Derrick
to that
Henry.
AFC Championship,
26 carries. He was averaging 7.2 a carry.
Yeah,
That's fucking wild on 26 carries.
yeah. 44-yard run, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns.
And people were saying he was washed at the beginning of the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I never thought that in my life. I knew this fucking like just the RPO options and the read options for this team are just unlimited, like almost as unlimited as Russell Wilson.
Are they Mr. Unlimited?
Again, Russell Wilson, cringiest player in the league by far.
Man, I honestly can't believe he started over Justin Fields.
I know. We both are pretty big Justin Fields fans though. They're both free agents. So that'll be interesting who they decide to keep. I think Russell Wilson will be the guy, honestly, the more that I think about it, especially with this performance this year. This game was not on Russell Wilson at all.
I was going to say, if you look at this year just in general, like Justin Fields played 6 games, went 4-2. Russ Wilson comes in. I think he went 4-0 to start.
Yeah.
5-0 to start, and then ended the year going 6-6.
Yeah,
So,
that was a rough last couple, 3 games for him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting because I know they're not going to keep them both again. Justin Fields is not going to want to sit again. I think he's going to want to look for a starting job, whichever team does not get the quarterback that they want in the draft. I think Justin Fields will have some options. Yeah, I don't know. Justin Fields, I think sitting behind Russell Wilson this year, it's definitely not going to hurt him at all. It's going to help him more than anything, just learning from Russell Wilson,
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's a great vet. He's got a lot of ball knowledge. He's won a Super Bowl. It's
I mean, was it him or was it the defense and Marshawn Lynch?
that was a good portion of it, but I mean, you can't say Russell Wilson got carried that year at all. I mean, he was
Nah.
dotting up, and I thought
Prime
he was
Russell
going to be
Wilson.
like good for the next 10 years.
Prime Russell Wilson is what Mike Vick wanted to be.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Come on.
No, I'm playing.
That
But
one's
like, not
going
for
on
real though.
TikTok.
Not like for real though. Honestly, Russell Wilson could run the ball just as good as Mike Vick could, but throw the ball way better.
It's just Mike Vick had more speed. I don't know.
He was more agile.
Russell Wilson didn't have the speed that Mike Vick had at all. I mean, he was fast, don't get me wrong, but he was not close to Mike Vick in speed.
He made fast people look not fast.
Yeah, he did. Shout out Brucey. There's our forgotten quarterback. Shout out Paul Crew.
Shaving them points.
Yep. Yeah, going over to the Baltimore side of things. Lamar Jackson, I mean, 16 for 21, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, that's a pretty average game for Lamar. When Derrick Henry's getting 26 carries for almost 200 yards.
I think you really take whatever you can get at the quarterback position at that point.
I mean, Lamar had 81 yards on the ground as well. He averaged over 5 yards a carry. And that's your quarterback, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Isaiah Likely was their leading receiver, but I mean, when you're running the ball like that, that's almost 270 yards on the ground between your quarterback and running back. Do you really even need all that much of a pass game?
I think they had 299 rushing yards total. 229 from the Steelers.
Yeah, that was the biggest discrepancy of this game. Steven Sims forced a fumble, I guess.
Woo.
I'd never heard of Steven Sims in my life, but shout out Steven Sims. I don't know. It was just the AFC North. Baltimore's proven they're the big dog. They're the real deal out of that division again.
Which is weird that they even had to prove that.
Yeah. I didn't like all that conversation. Like, I don't know. Steelers have the longest active streak of being in the playoffs consecutive years, right?
They do just enough.
Yeah.
They have done just enough basically my entire fucking life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Not a whole lot of defense from Baltimore as well. I mean, 82 tackles for Pittsburgh's defense to the Ravens 45. That tells you pretty much everything you need to know about this game,
I was going to say, I think in these last 3 games that we have covered, it has been like the exact same story for each single one.
Yeah.
One team held the ball for way longer because they couldn't get them off the fucking field.
Yeah. Well, I think that covers the AFC side of things. Why don't we pop over to the first game of the NFC?
Which one is that?
That would be the Packers and your Philadelphia Eagles.
I know that the Eagles won this game, but they should have won by a lot more.
Yeah. Way closer than it should have been.
And there was a helmet-to-helmet call at the very beginning of the game that was not called.
Yeah, I've heard some arguments about that the runner lowered his head first.
Yeah, see, like, that's one thing I don't understand is, like, if they try to truck them and they lead with their head, is it still technically a helmet-to-helmet?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those dicey calls that whichever fan base doesn't get the call, they're going to be mad about it.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Eagles side of things. Jalen Hurts, pretty underwhelming performance, to be honest.
Yeah.
13 for 21, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns to no picks. took 2 sacks, but I mean, if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm wanting double that from Hurts, you know?
You know, you know why I don't expect that is
Saquon.
because no, you look on the other side of the ball. Jordan Love, 20 for 33, 212 yards, no touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
We don't turn the ball over, we win the game. Simple as that.
Yeah. Very very rough game for Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Um he only took 2 sacks. Josh Jacobs he did pretty good. 18 carries, 81 yards. I mean, almost it was like 4.5 yards a carry he averaged and a touchdown. He was kind of like their only bright spot on offense all day.
Yeah, I was gonna say after their receivers started going down in the third quarter, I felt like Josh Jacobs was gonna have to fucking put them on his back literally.
Yeah, that sucks if you're a Packers fan. I mean, I'm a Vikings fan and I hate any football injuries, even if it is to my arch nemesis team, you know.
I was gonna say you always want to you always want to beat a team when they're fully healthy.
100%. So then the bitches don't come back and say, "Oh, you beat us because he was out."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like if we would play the Lions in the conference championship and their whole defense is hurt still,
yeah,
all the Lions fans are gonna be like, well, you didn't beat us when we were this and this and that and this.
yeah. Packers fans expect the Tucker Kraft QB sneak a lot more going forward.
Dude, that was so gay.
Yeah, I mean,
That was coming from an Eagles fan. That was gay.
there's just no stopping that. I mean, that's that could be as deadly as the tush push. You know, I mean, teams might start putting their big tight end in there, even the fullback, just directly under center, take the snap and let it rip. You know.
Another thing I'm gonna say about that, the reason why I think it worked so well and why he got like 6 yards on that one carry is because the Eagles weren't even trying to tackle him. They were trying to strip the ball out for some reason.
Yeah.
Like they weren't even going for the fourth down stop. They were just like, give me the goddamn ball.
Yeah. I don't know. Very underwhelming game for the Packers. I thought they were going to be a lot better.
One of the weirder stats was Jalen Hurts started the game 6 for 6. He then went 30 real minutes without a completion.
Yeah, I'm nervous if I'm an Eagles fan.
I mean, if you watch like the video breakdown where they have like the sky view of the plays, our receivers could not get separation to save their fucking life.
Yeah.
One of the best receiver duos I've heard, and none of them could get separation on no routes.
Yeah. There wasn't. Honestly, it was way more of a defensive game, and I thought it was just gonna. I thought both teams were gonna score 20, 30 plus. You know.
Honestly, the over/under was like 48.
Yeah. Philly's defense, man, just balled out. Balled out.
Shout out Nakobe Dean. Rest up for next season.
Yep. Shout out everybody on the Packers IR list now.
Maybe even Josh Jacobs. I don't know what he got injured with at the end of the game, but
yeah. I think Quinion Mitchell got his first pick of the year.
Quintanamo Bay, baby.
Slay had one, and Zach Bond had one. That was awesome.
Hey, we re-signing him. Howard Roseman said we re-signing him.
Good. You guys need him back.
I can't wait.
Yeah, very defensive game.
I don't even know if you can say defensive. I just think bad offense.
Yeah, underwhelming game for both teams for sure.
It started out really fast and quick for the Eagles, but it seemed like after we went up 10-0, we just couldn't move the ball, and the Packers couldn't move the ball until Josh Jacobs had that big explosive run.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, it was a pretty boring. That was the most boring game of the weekend, honestly.
Not for me. We won.
I mean, yeah, there's that, yeah.
And, another big story to come out of this game.
What?
So, at one point, A.J. Brown was caught reading a book on the sideline.
Yeah, I saw that.
That book is now the #1 bestseller on Amazon. Shout
No
out to
way.
Eagles fan. Shout
No.
out to Eagles fans for that one.
What
Hell yeah.
what book is it?
Inner Excellence.
It's just a motivation book.
Yeah, it was ranked 535,000th on Amazon. It went to #1 in one day.
AJ Brown should be getting some like proceeds or something, but
Shout out to the Eagles fans.
shout out that writer that made that book, dude.
Yeah, they getting that bag now.
Yeah. Saquon had another day. He didn't get in the end zone, but
Should have at the end.
he should have. 25 carries, 119 yards. No explosive runs. I mean, 17 yards, you could call that semi-explosive, but that's more like a BB gun run for him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not much to talk about with this game. I wish there was more.
Now on to one of the most exciting NFC games, if not the most exciting.
Yeah, Washington and Tampa Bay went into overtime, right?
No, the Commanders kicked a field goal
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
end of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You know, the
go
one
ahead.
takeaway I take, like, Baker Mayfield, he did not do Baker Mayfield things this game.
No, he only threw the ball 18 times.
Only had 185 yards.
Yeah. He was very efficient. Very efficient.
Yeah, but, like, the Baker Mayfield that I get when he plays the Eagles, motherfucker, that was 400.
Yeah, efficient doesn't win you playoff games. Yeah. The time of possession was actually split halfway evenly. I mean, Washington had it for 35 minutes. Tampa Bay had it for 24.
Yeah, so 11 more minutes.
It's pretty split down the middle, like 35-26 to 24-34. But yeah, Baker, they just couldn't get the defense off the field. Too many mistakes. Baker had that fumble. That was rough, man. That kind of, I think Tampa Bay would have won without that fumble.
When he fumbled at, like, their own 20.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay wins if he doesn't fumble, but not putting the game on Baker at all. I mean, he had a really solid game for what he could do. You know, 15 for 18, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. Only took 1 sack, you know. Bucky Irving had a day, 77 yards on the ground. Baker had his Marshawn Lynch run. That was insane.
Yo, it seemed like he was having those once a week, every single week now.
Yeah, I mean, he says he says he'll break him out when he needs some juice, you know.
I do think that the Commanders are one of the only teams in the NFC that can keep up with the Lions. So I think it's a good thing that they're matching up against them.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, it's going to be tough for Tampa Bay, man. 6th seed on the road throughout the whole playoffs. Guaranteed now.
Yeah.
Mike Evans, 92 yards on 7 catches with a touchdown. Bucky Irving caught a touchdown.
Bucky Irvin, he is a really good get for them.
Yeah, very. And they got him in what, the 3rd round? 4th round? No, I think it was 3rd.
I'm gonna say 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
And McMillan. McMillan is crazy.
Yeah. Dude is insanely fast. He makes great cuts.
Makes insane catches.
Yeah. I think they are a solid wide receiver 3. I mean, if they get Godwin back, I should say, because he's a free agent.
Yeah, I don't see him going anywhere. But
I don't either. The defensive side of things, I mean, Tampa Bay was just on defense way more in this game. Maybe not in time, but like, God.
I think the Commanders ran like 15 more plays or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, Jaden Daniels had a day. 24 for 35, 268, 2 touchdowns, no picks. It's been a while since I've seen a rookie ball out like that in the playoffs, since, like, I guess C.J. Stroud last year, right? Or were they first-round exits?
No, I think they beat Cleveland in the first round last year.
Yeah. I think Jaden Daniels' rookie season has trumped C.J. Stroud's last year, as good as C.J. Stroud's was.
I, I do think it's weird that like this good rushing team all year just could not get the run game going at all.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see them try to run it a little more, but I mean, Jane Daniels is their leading rusher in carries and yards.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Robinson couldn't get anything going. Neither could Eckler. I mean,
I guess is Tampa Bay's front four really like that?
I don't know. I don't watch too much Tampa Bay football, but
I know Vita Vea out there somewhere.
yeah. He had where's it at? Vita Vea. He had one tackle all game. One tackle, and it wasn't even a solo tackle, so he got 2 assist tackles. Yeah, I don't. Definitely like a heart pounding game if you're the Commanders. I mean, first playoff win since what, 05?
They didn't win any after that, really?
No.
Damn.
They've been bottom of your division for a minute, man.
Wow. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess I knew they'd been bottom since like at least 2016.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they went with Alex Smith once.
They probably went. They just never won a playoff game.
Oh, they didn't do nothing with it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Diami Brown, dude. 5 catches, 89 yards. Touchdown. Terry McLaurin, 7 catches, 89 yards. Touchdown.
Scary Terry, your AV.
Yeah. I mean, Zach Ertz, caught 2 passes, 23 yards. Yeah. Very, very competitive game. Like, all the way to the end.
Yeah. Was really happy the Bucks did not win. I did not want to see them in the playoffs again.
Yeah, that's got to be tough for you.
Getting sick of seeing them, and I'm getting sick of them sending us home.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, nobody threw a pick this game either. I mean, just both quarterbacks were, for the most part, in the zone. Just no mistakes. Arguably, I mean, there's probably a few underthrows or overthrows, but it's kind of fitting that it came a little full circle. Not to make Bears fans feel bad, but they started that losing streak with the celebration in the end zone on the Hail Mary, and
Yeah.
the Bears have the most, I don't even want to call it famous, but infamous, like, doink on a field goal in the playoffs, that 2018 season where they won, I think, 12 games.
Yeah, and then they double doinked it in the playoffs against the Eagles.
Yeah, and then the Commanders, who started their losing streak, doinked the field goal in for the win.
Yeah.
If this game went into overtime, I could have seen it going into 3 or 4, man.
I was gonna say, well, if it went into overtime, whoever gets that ball, whoever wins that coin toss, and whoever gets that ball last is winning the game.
I
They're
thought they
going
changed
to-
the playoff overtime rules.
They did. Whoever scores first, you have a chance to score. But I think that their defense, I think they're both scoring, and I think whoever scores the second time, they're going for 2.
Yeah. Yeah, it was such a fun game to watch. Probably the best game of the weekend, honestly. And
Yeah.
I'm now excited to see the Commanders play the Lions. I mean, the Lions are going to have been sitting for a week, so they're rested way more, but I don't know.
Do you think with them having that 1 week off, they're gonna have any rust coming out?
I doubt it.
And I heard Montgomery's gonna be back. You think he's gonna have some rust on him?
I didn't hear Montgomery's back.
You didn't?
No.
I keep getting told that Montgomery's gonna be back.
Really?
Yeah, literally every single person at work told me that Montgomery is coming back.
That kind of changes the outlook of this game. Let's find out. Yeah, full participants. Him
Yep.
and Terry and Arnold.
Yep.
Wow. Um. Yeah, we'll see how the commies do, man. That's Jaden Daniels is really gonna have to bring it. Like I thought he had a great game this week against Tampa, but he's gonna have to play out of his mind to beat this Lions team. They're a steamroller, man. Um,
I think a lot of their defense is still hurt, so I think that's like the one place that you can actually
it's
try to fucking do something.
it's still good enough to win them games though, which is the insane
Yeah.
part. Like they just got some big boys on that D line. It doesn't matter. They got Anzalone in the middle, who's arguably one of the best linebackers in football this year. It's just tough. It's so tough. Um, it's gonna be a fun game. I hope at least.
Yeah. I really hope it's not a fucking blowout.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Commanders be competitive. Um, it. Yeah, we'll see.
And now,
Yeah, I've been trying to
on
avoid this. If you can't tell.
on to the best game of the week.
Yeah, the Minnesota Vikings losing to the Los Angeles Rams in Arizona, 9-27.
Yeah.
I think now it's safe to say Sam Darnold will not be in Vikings purple next season. At least
Man,
for me.
he just did not look like a starting NFL quarterback in the playoffs.
No. Do you want to know what his QBR was?
What was his QBR?
Take a guess.
67.
Way off.
Lower?
Way lower.
32.
13.6.
What
That was
the-
the worst quarterback performance I have ever seen from a Vikings quarterback in the playoffs.
Wow.
25 for 40, 245 yards. So the yards were there. The completions were not. He was throwing them behind, over. It was the same story as the Lions game. Touchdown, a pick. Could have been a lot worse, but God, we just couldn't do anything on offense.
I think the Rams learned a lot from that Lions game.
Yeah.
Once you blitz Sam Darnold and you get pressure, he just fucking freezes.
Yeah, it's... Oh, my God. I mean, shout out Matt Stafford. Dude carved us up. I knew that was going to happen. We really can't play we can't play man coverage with the defensive backs we have. Safety-wise, we're fine, but Shaq Griffin and Stephon Gilmore are just they've lost a step, and you can't play man coverage like you need to against this Rams team with those two. And Byron Murphy's more of a slot corner, so
I don't think there was any part in that game where I thought the Vikings were going to win.
no, it's just terrible right from the start. I mean,
Um,
the fumble that got called back, the fumble 6.
Yeah.
That kind of changed the whole complexity of the game because they take that in, then that's 10-10 going into halftime rather than 17-3, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess the officials know best, you know, the replay officials, all them.
I don't know, man.
I don't want to be that guy that said that complains about a call. You know, I don't like to do that.
Dude, fuck it, I'll be that guy. I don't think that should have been called back at all.
See, my thing is, I think, because that's kind of fucked us 2 weeks in a row with the no grounding call because they can't call it on a review. I think grounding should be called on reviews.
But, like, if you look at it, when he flicks that ball, it's basically like a pitch. That's like a pitch.
Yeah.
Lands behind the line. How the fuck is that not a fumble?
Yeah, did you hear what Belichick said about it?
What?
He said you can't call that a pass. That's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. So Belichick kind of said it for us all.
Yeah.
Vikings had 2 sacks to the Rams 9. Do you want to hear the yards lost on those 9 sacks?
Yeah.
I want you to guess again. We're going to play a little guessing game with this.
74.
82.
God damn.
Yeah. I mean, we held the Rams to 90 yards rushing total. So, I mean, we stopped the run well. Our defense is legit, but Sam fucking Darnold.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think you guys just basically restart with J.J. McCarthy next year.
I mean, you can't teach, like, having a good headspace in tight games and big games. And honestly, you haven't seen it in the NFL yet, but in college, there's no more to prove for McCarthy. He's got it, you know? At least looking from a college perspective. That doesn't always carry over, but the man went to, 2 playoffs in a row and won a natty?
Yeah.
Given he had 2 of the best running backs and they were a running team. But, I mean, he's going to be smart. He's smart with the ball. He's a game manager. And if there's anybody that's going to make J.J. McCarthy look better than what he is, which it's fucking Kevin O'Connell. You know? But I don't know. We couldn't get anything going on the ground. We did better on the ground than they did yards-wise, but Kyron Williams, 16 carries, 76 yards. Aaron Jones' 13 carries for 48 yards. I think we abandoned the run too soon, honestly, but by then we needed to pass. We just dug a hole and couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't ever look at this season and go, Sam Darnold's the guy.
No. I will say, if he would have, even with this Lions loss, if he would have made some noise in the playoffs, won a game or two, there is a conversation. There is. But he didn't. He shit the bed on the grandest stage of them all.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, literally. It was like Brock Lesnar versus Gilbert.
Not Goldberg?
No, Gilbert. Sam Darnold was Gilbert tonight. Yeah, that was very tough for me to watch, but I did watch until the clock hit 0.
I did not. I turned the game off midway in the 4th.
Yeah, it was not good. Jared Verse, dude, is a stud.
Man, him and Byron Young were living in that backfield.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jared Verse gets Defensive Rookie of the Year off of this season. It's between
hurt,
it's between him or I'd like to say Quinion's up there, but I don't think he did enough.
I don't think he got the ball thrown to him enough to really prove that he's a good or a fucking top 5 corner.
You could say Terry and Arnold. He had a decent season.
Even with getting hurt, yeah.
But I think
they found their Aaron Donald replacement.
Yeah, Jared Verse is just a monster, dude. Defensively, the Vikings look good again. I mean, obviously they're going to tear us up in zone coverage because it's a Hall of Fame quarterback and a great offensive-minded coach, but it's so hard to beat those Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Matt Stafford's first ballot in my book, at least, and I don't know.
I mean, he's got a ring. He's got to be.
Yeah, he's missing an MVP, but
it's crazy that Matt Ryan got one before he did.
He probably deserved it a couple years. It's just his team was so garbage around him. I think I heard somebody do a take, and I don't remember exactly who it was. It could have been CJ Stroud, actually, on Micah's podcast. He said, you put Matt Stafford on the Packers and you put Aaron Rodgers on the Lions, Matt Stafford is going to have more rings with those Packers teams than Aaron Rodgers, which is a very hot take. Very.
I believe that that's true though. Honestly,
That there's a conversation for sure there, big time. I don't know. Rodgers really never shit the bed. He just got outplayed sometimes, you know.
he got outplayed a lot.
He did.
I hate it. I hate Aaron Rodgers.
That 2021 Packers team was one of the best Packers teams I've ever seen in my life, but Aaron Rodgers did not deserve MVP that year.
2020 was that a second one that he won in a row?
Yeah. I mean, Kirk Cousins had all-around better stats than him. I'm not saying Kirk deserved it by any means, but Aaron Rodgers did not deserve that.
We're living in a weird universe, and Kirk Cousins gets MVP.
Yeah. I guess last year before he went down, he had MVP numbers, but it's Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. You knew that wasn't gonna hold up. But
I think if he honestly, this is gonna be a hot take as well. I think the same thing that happened to Joe Burrow this year would have happened to Kirk Cousins last year if he played the whole year.
just a crazy year. But I think we would have been a lot better if Kirk would have been our QB, though. I think our record would have been a lot better.
What'd you guys finish?
7-10 or 8-9 or some shit like that. I think it was 7-10.
Was last year the year you guys started off 0-4?
I think it was 1-4.
And then you went on a win streak, and then Kirk went down.
Well, we beat the Packers in Lambeau, and then Kirk went down in Lambeau as we're blowing out the Packers, and then we had that rookie last year, Jaron Hall, for a drive against Atlanta the next week. And I was kind of pumped for him, and he was scrambling. You know, I before then I didn't have a scrambling quarterback since Teddy. You know, it was fun.
Yeah.
And the end of the first drive, he tries to truck a Falcons linebacker. Don't do that if you're a quarterback. Unless your name's Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen, do not do that. Yeah, then the whole Pasternaut thing went wild last year, and
Josh, oh my God, I forgot about Josh Dobbs.
yeah, that was a rough year last year. This one stings a lot more, obviously, but as a Vikings fan, every year I'm never gonna believe that the Vikings are winning in the Super Bowl until we're up in the Super Bowl and the clock hits 0 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, too much disappointment as a fan, I guess. This game was one of the more disappointing losses I've seen in a long time. Probably since 2017, to be honest with you.
What happened that year?
We got murdered in Philly.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know, Rams, again, sneaky good. We've been saying it since we started this podcast.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame QB, Sean McVay. That's going to be tough to beat. Hell of a receiving core.
It's going to be a hard game.
It is. I think it's going to be a very close game. But, yeah, it's... I guess we're down to 8 teams now, right?
Yeah.
That kind of shortens our power ranking.
It does.
You want to do a quick little 8-team power ranking?
Down.
And then we can do
1 to 8 or 8
bracket.
to 1?
We'll do 8 to 1.
All right. I think 8 should. Wait, are we going off of these last week?
We'll just go off of what we think the team in general.
Okay. Who you got at 8?
Honestly, Rams. Even after the ass whooping they put up on us.
I was gonna say I think it's either between the Rams or Texans, and I think those two are very interchangeable.
That's what I was gonna go Texans at 7.
Yeah. I agree with you. I'll put the Rams at 8.
Yeah, they're definitely interchangeable.
Yeah.
Um, kind of same way to win, same outcome, very very similar. Like the Vikings couldn't do shit on offense, and Houston the same way, you know. They I
Yeah.
mean, they just took advantages where they had them, and the score ended up being a blowout. So we're at 6 now. I'm gonna put Washington.
Yeah, I think that's perfect, honestly.
Yeah, it's gonna be such a fun game with them going to Detroit. That's the Saturday night game as well.
Yep.
So Saturday's Houston and KC at 3:30, and Washington and Detroit at 7. I wish they did the Saturday games a little like they do the Sunday games, because
Kind of how like,
the Rams and Eagles play at 2.
and then at 5:30.
Yeah, I wish they were a little earlier, but
Yeah.
yeah, Baltimore and Buffalo, the 5:30 game Sunday. So we're at 5 now.
Yeah.
Yikes. Honestly, as of right now,
The Eagles.
yeah,
Yes.
They definitely didn't show me enough. Like Saquon obviously did, but you can't just ride Saquon throughout the whole playoffs.
Bro, our defense was killing it.
Defense killing it too, but Jalen Hurts, come on, man, do better,
Yeah, I
do
agree.
better, dog.
I agree.
Yeah, Eagles at 5, which we had Eagles at 1 last week, and yeah, you guys should have put up 50 on the Packers.
Bro, that should have been 40-0 before they even basically touched the ball.
You guys are gonna have to be like going 100 miles an hour right when that ball's kicked off Sunday
Yeah.
with the Rams, because they come out fast.
Yeah.
And Sean McVay is gonna know how to tear up any defense in this league. So we're down to the top 4.
Yup.
I am gonna put Detroit.
I'm gonna put the Ravens.
I was putting Ravens at 3.
I'm gonna put the Lions at 3.
Yeah. Again, interchangeable. It's so tough once you get up here to like put a ranking on them. Like it's a top 4, I'd say, as of right now. Arguably top 5 with the Eagles, but with their performance, that kind of separated them from these other 4 in a way.
Yeah.
As of right now, these 4 are just juggernauts.
I honestly think all 4 of them are also favored, or I think the Bills are favored to win against the Ravens right now.
Yeah. I was looking at Super Bowl odds right now that like people are like taking picks or whatever. Like I did the ESPN bracket, on their last video.
Yeah.
And like 26% of people, the highest by far, have Detroit.
Really?
Yeah, we'll see how they come out against Washington after this little break. So we're down to 2 now. I'm going to go Buffalo simply because we have yet to see Pat Mahomes this playoffs, but we have a pretty large sample size of what he is in the playoffs.
Yeah. And I mean, we've seen Josh Allen, but I don't know, man. I just don't think that there's really any other team that can just overtake the Chiefs so far.
I think it's going to come down to how convincingly, if the Chiefs, I'll say if because Houston has a chance here, but next week's going into the conference championship. If KC wins by like 2, and let's say like Baltimore or Buffalo win by 20 on these other teams, that's the top spot.
Yeah.
If one team just blows out the other for this Baltimore and Buffalo game, that's your top team moving forward, no doubt.
Honestly, I feel like I really hope we have 4 close games. I don't want any blowouts at all, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I want 1 blowout, but that's different.
Yeah, I'm God, I'm hyped for Baltimore Buffalo, dude. I am so ready for that game. It's gonna be stress-free playoff football for the rest of the time. That's the one bright spot of this Vikings Rams game.
Yeah.
I don't gotta stress about the Vikings anymore. But
But
obviously,
at the same time, it gotta hurt a little bit.
oh, it stings like hell. Again and again and again, we just come up short, and I'm trusting the process. But at this point, I'm just along for the ride when it comes to the Vikings. But obviously, at one, we have the Chiefs. Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce. That defense is great. They're getting healthy at the right time as well.
Honestly, I think our lists are basically the exact same.
Yeah,
A
couple
few,
interchangeable.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun games. I mean, if you told me at the beginning of the season that Washington would be in the second round of the playoffs, I mean, I thought Daniels was gonna have a rookie season, like a good rookie season, but if they beat the Lions, dude, there's gonna be some talk about the Commanders here.
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, there's really only 3 games that could have a clear upset, which is the Texans-Chiefs, the Texans over the Chiefs, the Commanders over the Lions, and the Rams over the Eagles.
Yeah, Baltimore Buffalo are so evenly matched.
Yeah, you can't really say one's an upset because they're both such good teams.
Yeah. Would you like to do a little bracket? We'll see if I can get one loaded up. I don't know if it's going to be the exact same bracket that I had last time, but
I am down.
all right. This is just going to go through the wild card games as well. We can just select the winners there. So obviously it's going to go through the whole AFC first and then the NFC, and I'm going to guess the Super Bowl's last. So
All right.
Bills beat Broncos, Ravens beat Steelers, Texans beat Chargers. Okay, so then we got
Yes.
Houston and Kansas City. Kansas City, I think, but Texans
Yeah.
do have a shot if they come out to play.
Yeah.
Texans defense surprised the hell out of me as well. So I'll still take Chiefs, but it's going to be close.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot closer than we think it is, honestly.
Bills Ravens, God, this is such a coin flip. It's who's going to get it done first between Josh Allen and Lamar. This is kind of like the perfect setting. Everybody's talking about they can't do it,
Everybody's saying that Lamar's can't finish the job.
Yeah. They're saying the same thing about Josh Allen as well.
Yep.
I'm going to take Ravens just off of that rushing attack. It's going to be so hard for the Bills to stop, and Buffalo is going to have to play a very clean game against this Ravens squad, in my eyes, because James Cook's a monster, don't get me wrong, but they're not going to have near the consistency on the level of the Baltimore Ravens rushing attack.
Oh, no, not even a little bit.
No, so the Bills are just going to have to torch them through the air, which is very possible, but I'll take Ravens, and I'm going to guess this game covers the spread. I'm going to guess it's probably going to be an under 3 spread for this game. What do you think?
Honestly, I think, because I love defensive matchups,
Yeah.
but I don't see the Bills' defense matching up with the Ravens' defense.
That's my issue, too. It could go either way. It's such a coin flip, like I said, but
Yeah, I think they're going to be able to run the ball all over the Bills' defense.
Yeah. I mean, they run the ball over everybody.
But I think that they're going to have basically the same game they just had against the Steelers. And if their defense can hold up, I think they're going to eat away at that clock and just win the game basically off time of possession.
Yeah, Ravens here for sure. So we have Ravens, Chiefs. Wasn't that the AFC Championship last year as well?
I believe so. And nobody could ever get the job done against Patrick Mahomes.
No, but if the Ravens beat the Bills, I think this is the year Lamar does it. Gets them to the big game.
they're riding high off a big W.
Unless the Chiefs, it could change next week if the Chiefs blow out the Texans. But
Which is a possibility.
I think there's going to be a little rust on this Kansas City team. Haven't played a game in, God, damn near a month.
Yeah, the last game that they watched, they got fucking blown out by the Broncos.
Yeah. So we'll take Ravens here. All right. Philly beat Green Bay. Washington beat Bucks. And the Rams beat the Vikings. Lions commies.
I think it's Lions, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than everybody thinks. Like that, everybody's saying it is.
Yeah, I'm curious to see on what the spread of this game is going to be. I'll also take Lions. Oh my God,
That was, yeah.
that was wild. Pussy's gone crazy. Yeah, I'll also take the Lions. So we are on to the Eagles and the Rams.
I mean, we already know who I'm taking.
I'm also gonna take the Eagles, but I think this is gonna come down to like a field goal or some shit. I do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that the Eagles are gonna come in here and do what they did to the Packers defensively. I just don't think that the Eagles can stop the offense that they have exactly how we did to the Packers. I think we probably win this game by maybe 6 points.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I'll still take Eagles. Eagles Lions NFC Championship. It's really all gonna depend on how these other two games go.
Yeah.
Honestly, haven't seen anything from the Lions this postseason, and what we saw from the Eagles was underwhelming. To me, it's a coin flip, and I might actually flip a coin for this decision. I know you're going to want to say Eagles, but...
I was going to say, if you flip a coin, I'll go with that decision.
Okay, so it's the 1 and 2 seed. You're an Eagles fan, you call.
Heads.
Okay. We'll do it Siri style.
It's tails never fails, though.
Hey, Siri. Flip a coin.
Uh-huh.
Tails.
Tails never fails, god damn it.
So you picked heads?
Yeah.
So Lions win that. Ravens, Lions, Super Bowl. There is speculation that if the Lions make the Super Bowl that Aiden Hutchinson will be back, but how back will he really be? That probably didn't make any sense. I said that, and I was like, what the fuck am I talking about?
Nah, I get it. He's coming back after that gruesome leg injury. You don't know how much he's actually going to be there.
Yeah. If this is the case, I would pick the Ravens for even how banged up the Lions defense is. They let up a lot of yards. If Lamar needs to pass, he can pass, but there is just no stopping this Ravens rushing attack right now.
Yeah, they give up a lot of yards, but to good teams, they also give up a lot of points.
Yeah. I think the Ravens defense can do just enough to maybe hold the Lions every once in a while. It'd be a very high-scoring game.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens would dominate the time of possession by far. They do with everybody.
Yeah, I guess at the same time, they're getting Montgomery back. We don't know how their game's going
to... Yeah. I still take Ravens. I think this is the year Lamar gets it done, honestly.
Yeah. Might get a ring out of it.
Yeah. So we got Ravens as the Super Bowl champion, changing it up from the Eagles last week.
That hurts my heart.
Yeah. I'd love to see Lamar win one, though, just to shut up the haters. Just to shut them all up.
I would, but if it happens, I just hope we don't make it.
Yeah.
Because to hope anybody else wants to win when your team is still in the playoffs, it hurts you a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know if Rams beat you guys, I could see them. That's kind of like if Lions win and Rams win, that'd be such a fun rematch, I think, from last year in the first round.
Yeah.
Stafford would be going back to Detroit again, but this time it's to go play in the Super Bowl.
Has he beat the Lions yet
I don't know.
since leaving?
Let's look that up quick. Matthew Stafford record versus Lions. Matt Stafford versus the Lions. Why doesn't this tell me? I don't think he has.
As I said, I know he lost when he went back the first time.
Wait, no. He won in 2021.
He did?
Yeah, 28-19. That's the 0-7 Detroit team though.
Oh.
Yeah. I think that was their Super Bowl year, wasn't it?
2021?
That would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that kind of ends our bracket. Do we shout out Brucey or do you have a forgotten quarterback?
Who was that one you said a couple episodes ago?
The old
Is it
Eagles guy?
Brady Quinn? Was that his name?
Oh yeah, Brady Quinn.
All right. Shout out Colt McCoy, Texas Legend. That's who I was thinking about.
Shout out Colt McCoy.
Hell yeah.